watching One Gaddy Talking Sports.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here with yet another Washington football team video, and in today's video I'm coming on here to talk about Washington's receiver room. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, in this case our Washington football team. We're so close to 3,000 subscribers. I know we can get there in no time with you guys' countless support. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. So like I said, I want to come on here and basically break down until we get to training camp, and even after we enter training camp, I'm still going to have like a separate video talking about the receiver room. But leading up to that, I just want to break down each and every position group, because from this point, June 1st, or the start of June rather, to the end of training camp, the rooms are going to look a lot more smaller. So I just want to talk about the receiving rooms and the position groups as of right now to see who can possibly make it and who are the guys on the outside looking in trying to make this roster for the specific position group we're talking about that day. So I'm kicking it off with the wide receiver room. Why not? Because in my opinion, outside of probably the D-line, this is probably now the most fun position group to watch, or we're looking forward to seeing. So I'm going to talk about the receiver room and talk about the guys who I believe have a chance to possibly make the roster. I'm not going to really talk about all the other guys who I don't really think are going to make the roster, because why waste time to talk about those guys where they have a long shot of making the roster. So why not kick it off by talking about obviously the guys who we think are going to make it. Terry McLaurin, #1 receiver on this team, the best receiver on this team, the best receiver in the NFC East. I know a lot of Dallas fans are going to say, well, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, blah, blah, blah. I personally think now Terry McLaurin is better than Amari Cooper. The only thing that he has with Amari Cooper, or Amari Cooper has over Terry McLaurin, is the experience. But if we're talking about the player and what he provides for his team, Terry McLaurin shows up each and every week, and this is with bad QB play. Each and every week he shows up. Amari Cooper has his times where he wants to go off for 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then he'll disappear for 5 games. Terry McLaurin shows up each and every week. Let me say this and make this more simple for Dallas fans. If you put Terry McLaurin on the Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott and put Amari Cooper on this team with all the quarterbacks that we had, the Kyle Allens, the Case Keenums, the Dwayne Haskins, Amari Cooper wouldn't even be a top 10, top 15 receiver in this NFL, and that's everything. I promise you that. I'm being so serious when I say that. I don't think Amari Cooper would be a top 15, top 10 receiver if we reversed places and you put Terry McLaurin on the team with CeeDee Lamb, with Dak Prescott, with Michael Gallup. Terry McLaurin would be a top 5 receiver for sure. I definitely believe Terry McLaurin has the ability to be a top 10, top 5 receiver at the end of this year, as long as he can get good QB play. But if you put him on the Dallas Cowboys, he would definitely be a top 5 wide receiver in the league. But nevertheless, Terry McLaurin, the best receiver on this team, and since he entered the league in 2019, he showed that he's the best receiver on this team. And now that he has somewhat of good QB play, you guys know I'm still on the fence about Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's growing on me. He's a guy that I'm going to root for. He's a guy that it's not like it's hard not to like him. But obviously, you guys know my stance. I'm still on the fence about him. I'm still not comfortable with having Ryan Fitzpatrick back there. But at least we know he's going to be an upgrade from Dwayne Haskins. At least we know Terry McLaurin is going to get the targets that he rightfully deserves, and he isn't going to be getting missed when he's wide open like Dwayne Haskins did. So it's going to be fun to watch and see Terry McLaurin grow, but obviously he is the #1 receiver on this team, the best receiver on this team, and me personally, in my opinion, he's the best receiver in this division, and that's counting Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay is a very good receiver, but he just can't stay healthy. So honestly, I know it's close with Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, and Kenny Golladay, but I personally got to give the edge to Terry McLaurin just a little bit. Now, moving on to Curtis Samuels. We got to talk about the new addition that Washington has just made a couple months ago from the Carolina Panthers. Now we have a wide receiver too. We really thought Steve Sims could have been that last year, but now we have another weapon to go alongside Terry McLaurin. And with Curtis Samuels, he is not just a wide receiver, as we know. He actually was a running back in college, and then he got transferred to a wide receiver. So we know he's a gadget player. It's going to be so fun to see what Scott Turner has up his sleeve for a guy like Curtis Samuels. And you know, he's just that guy that if you're having a bad drive, he can come in and give you a spark at any time. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just, like I said, regular wide receiver plays. He obviously has the ability to do that, and that's what he, you know, specializes in, at least now. But he has the ability to, you know, if you need to run a wildcat formation and put him at quarterback or something and get a run play direct snap to him, or if you need him on an end around, you need him on a jet sweep, you need him on a wide receiver screen, you need him on in the backfield on a running back screen, whatever you need to do to give him the ball, he's going to always give your team a spark. And I'm just glad he's on the Washington football team now, because now we have a wide receiver 2 for Terry McLaurin, and it's going to be so fun to see those guys wreak havoc on the NFL for the next couple years and hopefully for the long term. So with Curtis Samuel coming here, it's just another big plus for Ryan Fitzpatrick. And as much as I really was is on the fence about Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm not going to say there's no reason he can't have a good season, but it's going to be very hard for him to perform bad with these weapons that Washington now have. Now moving on to another receiver, as we start to get to the battles, you know what I'm saying? Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuels are definite locks. Now, these players that I'm going to name, in my opinion, are locks, but that's when you start to get to the battle. Adam Humphries, we just got him from the Tennessee Titans. He played with the Bucs with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick is a big reason Adam Humphries is here. I personally think he's a lock, but you may beg to differ out there. With Adam Humphries, he brings in a definite slot guy. And once again, a person we thought Steven Sims could be, but he definitely fumbled the bag last year. No pun intended with him fumbling the balls all last year. But with Adam Humphries, you bring in a vet. You bring in a nice, solid slot guy, a guy that's going to give you around 600, 500 yards and going to be a nice red zone threat for you. And then on third downs, he can move the chains for you if Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuels are smothered. I like to look at Adam Humphries as our Cole Beasley. You know what I'm saying? Cole Beasley, since playing with the Cowboys, and we know from experience, has been one of the best slot guys in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? He's very underrated in my opinion, but we know from experience from playing the Dallas Cowboys how annoying Cole Beasley is, how much he really killed us. You know what I'm saying? It was these drives against the Dallas Cowboys where we're like, come on, defense, we need one stop. 3rd and 5, we need one stop. You already know where it's going. Cole Beasley, watch out for Cole Beasley, and it goes right to Cole Beasley. That's what I think Adam Humphries could be for Washington, be that slot guy for us. And then while all being a slot guy, he could possibly be grooming Dax Mims to take over for the future, the guy that we drafted in the 7th round, and we'll get more to him as the video prolongs. But Adam Humphries is yet another guy who I personally think is a lock, but a lot of you guys may think it's a battle for the slot guy. Adam Humphries, like I said, is a well good vet. He's a solid slot guy, and he has the chemistry with Ryan Fitzpatrick, so it's going to be fun to see those guys work. Now we definitely are getting to the battle part of the wide receiver room as we're talking about Antonio Gandy-Golden. I personally think, yet again, Antonio Gandy-Golden is a lock, but some of you guys may think he is not. And some of you guys even said that you wouldn't be surprised if he get cut, and some of you guys even put on your projected 5 or 6 man wide receiver rooms having him cut. Me personally, I beg to differ. I just feel like he hasn't really got a chance to prove himself. Yeah, I understand he got hurt last year, but you really can't control injuries, you know what I'm saying? And they spent a 4th round draft pick on this guy, so I highly doubt they give up on him after 1 year. And with injuries being the reason that he's getting cut, that's just foolish, you know what I'm saying? It would be a different thing if he was healthy and he just wasn't producing, and like, hey man, we gotta let you go. But even if that's the case, I still don't see them moving on from him, a 4th round draft pick after 1 season. So Antonio Gandy-Golden is a guy who I feel like is going to be a lock, but also we got to still talk about it possibly being a battle, because him and Kelvin Harmon can be the guys to battle for that last wide receiver spot. So it should be fun to see training camp yet again. Antonio Gandy-Golden has a lot to prove. I'm not gonna sit here and say he doesn't. He has a lot to prove because of the lack of playing time he got last year due to injury. So like I said, it's going to be fun to see those guys battle it out. And once again, like I said, I personally think that Washington will keep 6 receivers. So yeah, with the next receiver on this list, why not talk about Kelvin Harmon? Kelvin Harmon, a 6th round draft pick from the 2019 draft class, who came in here and at the end of the season he started to light it up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And then unfortunately while getting ready for the 2020 training camp, he tore his ACL. So we have yet another receiver coming off an injury, another guy that they really don't know a lot about because they didn't draft him, and they just look at him and probably say although Ron Rivera, I'll give credit for Ron Rivera, he really speaks highly on Kelvin Harmon, and I really think Kelvin Harmon is going to make this roster. But another guy that they owe no loyalty to, and they could very well just cut him out of nowhere, and you cannot be mad about that because you're sitting here and saying if you have a football brain and football knowledge, you're sitting here saying he didn't draft this guy, so he don't owe him no loyalty. He can just cut him. But I don't think that's going to be the case for Ron Rivera and the Washington football team. With Kelvin Harmon coming back off his injury, you've seen what he was able to do pre-injury, the ability to snag the balls out of the air, one-hand catches, be able to block. That's the big thing about receivers. We need receivers that can block. Terry McLaurin is a perfect example of a guy that can block very well, and Curtis Samuel can also throw a block too. So Kelvin Harmon not only been able to have great hands, and he's baby Julio in my opinion. Not literally saying that because they play alike, but literally they look alike. He's literally baby Julio. You know what I'm saying? He has that. He has great hands. He's not the fastest receiver in the world, but he can get downfield, and like I said, he can be a guy that can lead in the run blocking department. So as long as he comes back 100% off the torn ACL, and he can prove himself that he's back in training camp, I see him making this roster. But if he somehow has some setbacks or something, it could be a way of Kelvin Harmon possibly not making this roster or getting put on the practice squad. Now, moving on to the next receivers, the set of receivers who I think is on the outside of looking in, really, you know what I'm saying, and that is Isaiah Wright, Steven Sims, and Dax Mills. Now, Dax Mills, I think the only reason why he's on the outside looking in only because he's a rookie. He's a 7th round draft pick, and I don't think he's going to get cut. If anything, I see him getting on the practice squad. So Dax Mills still has some room to grow. I think they really want him to be the slot guy of the future and have Curtis and have Terry on the outside, but we're going to wait and see. So I'm not going to spend too much talking about Dax Mills just because he's a rookie, and I think he just needs some more time to grow. But although he did say in OTAs that they did say in OTAs he's looking very well, so it's going to be fun to see him also compete, but I highly doubt he makes the active roster at least day one, but I don't see them letting go of him. I see them putting him on the practice squad. Now moving to the outside guys looking in for real, Isaiah Wright and Steven Sims. I gotta be honest, I don't see these guys making the roster. And it's a shame because I really wanted Steven Sims to really make this roster. And last year with Isaiah Wright, before the season started, after watching his film, I really fed into the hype because they were talking about how this guy could be a gadget player, another Antonio Gibson, a guy that could be a running back and receiver. And I'm not saying, and he was disappointing, but at the same time, he was an undrafted guy who I really didn't have high hopes for. You know what I'm saying? He made a few good plays, but he also, really didn't perform well when he did get his number called upon. But yet again, another guy that's an undrafted guy who really you don't have high expectations for, so you shouldn't expect a lot out of one Isaiah Wright. Now, with Isaiah Wright, I'm not saying there's not a chance he can make the team. He can maybe make the team through special teams, being a kick returner or something, but I just don't see him making this team as a receiver. And if you're one-dimensional, if you're just a kick returner, it's going to be very hard for you to make this team because you're taking up a roster spot. So he has to really perform well in mandatory mini camps. He has to perform well in training camp, and it's so big that we're having a preseason because he's one of the guys that has to perform well in training camp. So it's going to be fun to see, but like I said, Steven Sims and Isaiah Wright, I just don't see them making this roster. So yeah, man, it's me and boy Juan Gotti. I just wanted to come on here quickly to talk about the receiver room in specific. Let me know what other position groups you want me to do next. I'm going to cover all of them, but which ones do you guys want me to see next? Quarterback, offensive line, defensive line, secondary, whatever you want to see, put it down below and be specific. When I said secondary, put cornerback, safeties, because I'm talking about them one by one. So let me know what you guys think about this video down below. As always, it's me and boy Juan Gotti. We're so close to 3,000 subscribers. I know we can get there with you guys' support. So hit that subscribe button for me and let me know who you guys think are locks to make the roster and who do you guys think are on the outside looking in. As always, it's me and boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe. Hello to the Washington football team. I'm out. Peace. Cross me one time, that's gonna get you popped. Get you popped, get you dropped.